Welcome, Star Wars fans. It's time for another episode of Duel of the Ranks, a show where we debate takes so hot that they would melt a planet with twin suns. My name is Brody, and I am joined by my co-hosts, Brian and Amanda. This week, we are going to be ranking and discussing all things Duel of the Ranks as we are in between shows. By the end of this episode, we'll have a definitive answer on where this piece of Star Wars content, Duel of the Ranks content, nothing,
Yeah,
Sure.
where it all ranks amongst everything else. Y'all, this is pretty embarrassing. We made this big announcement that Christian would be back. And to be fair, the video I played did say he'd be back in August of 2024. So it's July, so we're not wrong, but we did also say in the video that he'd be back next week. So the promo was right. The announcement was wrong. Christian,
Yeah, isn't it? It's August in New Zealand, I think, right?
Yeah,
It is
isn't that how
August
it
in New
works?
Zealand. Yes, it is August in New Zealand.
It's also Christmas.
yes, it is.
Oh.
Christmas. It is
Today,
Christmas.
yeah, the
Yes.
25th.
The 25th of July, indeed. Indubitably. We are going to be talking Star Wars today, though, because this podcast is changing so freaking much in the next month that we're just going to talk about things we're doing, things we're excited about, things we're kicking off. And yeah, maybe it's a time. I mean, we probably won't reflect on anything. It's 138 episodes. We've been all around the world with this show. I don't really know what there is to reflect on, but we are going to be talking about some of the things we love with Star Wars, some of the things we love with this podcast, before moving on for the next episode and jumping back into Rebels, Clone Wars, something. So maybe that's a good place to start in this podcast. What should we rank and review next? Because Clone Wars has been fine, but Amanda has been itching to do Rebels since the very beginning.
I bet. It's an incredible show. I've been really wanting to do Rebels as soon as I got on. As much as I love Clone Wars. And the best of the Clone Wars is yet to come.
Right.
But none of it can really touch Rebels to me. I don't know.
I know it's you could tell a lot about a person when they say that Rebels is their favorite Star Wars series, you know.
You immediately know they're cool.
That's how I met Amanda, actually. We were in a meeting in this financial institution, and Amanda, and they asked what your favorite TV show was. And in front of a room full of adults, she said Star Wars Rebels. And yeah, I almost broke my neck moving it so fast. I'm like, this is not normal. Who is this person? And can she podcast? Now here we are.
And here we are. I also am curious to know, Brian, I saw that you mentioned on our Discord channel that you were looking for a cut of the Acolyte that made it almost more into a feature-length film. And did you succeed in finding that? And what are your thoughts?
I did. I watched it last night. It was 2.5 hours. I found it on Reddit. There's definitely some things I would have done a little differently. But it was like really kind of eye-opening to know, like, wow, you can tell that whole story a lot more efficiently. Of course, you sacrifice a lot of character moments and a lot of other good stuff in there. So it wasn't like a great movie on its own, but it was an interesting experiment into something that, I'm too lazy to do myself. So I'm just glad other people are doing it.
Isn't it nice when you can just go on the internet and complain about something and somebody else does the work necessary with it? Yeah,
that's what I love about being a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see that for what's it called? Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
that random indie project that Disney did. No, I've been wanting to see it. Someone did turn that into like a feature film, and I've been wanting to check that out.
Yeah, I don't know where to find that. I know I saw like a trailer for it, but I don't know where to find that one specifically. It's like kind of sketchy to distribute those things is kind of the issue. You got to like do it in DMs and stuff with the guy who created it, and they just send you like a link to like a low quality stream. But the Obi-Wan one sounded pretty cool too, and I think they did like rescoring. They did a lot of visual effects and stuff. That this cut of the Acolyte was like just editing. It was just like two like white.
That's all it needed. That's all it needed.
It's tough to
somehow
like
fit-
work around that, especially with the score. I think like some moments are like harder. You have to leave in shots and scenes that are kind of unnecessary because the score just doesn't fit when you're jumping in between them. But other than
Yeah,
that,
I
I
know.
thought it was pretty cool.
I hear you. Yeah. So Rebels, that's what we're doing next. Are we agreeing on that, or are we going back into season 3 of the Clone Wars and pushing through?
Or what if we do something totally different?
Resistance. Something y'all have never
Maybe.
seen.
Yeah, none of us have seen Resistance. So if we watched all of season 1 of Resistance, which shouldn't take that long, it should
Well, yeah, we're
be
all.
very
I don't think
easy
we.
to consume.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about the new format with the audience. So the plan in the short term is to go once a month with the podcast, but in that once a month session, we are going to be reviewing an entire season of whatever we're discussing. So, yeah, I mean, however long it takes us in that episode is what we'll do. Now, in the meantime, there will be more content. I don't think everyone knows our roles here. Christian is the celebrity, which is why he's not here tonight. I don't really know. What am
Chris
I?
Jenner.
Yeah, I mean, Brian's the producer.
I'm the tank. Oh, I'm the producer. Okay.
Yeah, he's the guy making sure this show goes out and things actually happen. I don't know. What are we, Amanda?
Moral support.
No, I'm so much more than that.
What do you mean? That's the most important thing that the world needs right now.
I guess that may be true, but
It
no,
is true. Yeah, there's police officers, there's doctors, and then there's Brody and I.
I do think I've become more of the Star Wars hater in the last year.
It has poisoned you.
Yeah. It took 3 years, but it's finally seeped in the loathing of this franchise that more just modern, right? All these things I hated about like when Gen X hated on the prequels, I've become.
Yeah, but do you think that maybe it's because like of doing Duel of the Ranks that it spoiled some of your enjoyment of Star Wars? Or
No. I mean, this is forcing me to talk about content I don't like, and that does make it worse. But realistically, I would probably watch it and be indifferent. And that does stink because I remember when Disney purchased Star Wars and Lucasfilm, and I was so just pumped just because I'm like, oh, anything Disney puts out is amazing. And now with just most large studios, I'm just like,
can you imagine like a Pixar Star Wars film just for a second?
Oh,
I'm not against that. I really
That's
do.
what you need to do with like a Grogu story.
Young Grogu or like Grogu and Mando. See what he was up to.
Honestly, maybe even, I think I may have just struck gold with that idea. If they could do the Mandalorian and Grogu series with Pixar, I think then you have, because I remember I made a bet.
Watch that movie.
Yeah, I made a bet with Luke that it wasn't going to like turn a profit on the opening weekend. But if you make
that's
it
ridiculous. Did you really say that to him?
I think it's gonna be a huge flop. But it was only $20. But
you're gonna lose $20.
I think they need to take like a bolder step and use something. And I mean, there was that other Disney movie that came out, Wish. I don't know if anyone actually saw it. But like a lot of their more recent films haven't gotten the same notoriety and theatrical releases as like their classics. So I feel like you could sort of merge those conglomerates together and make like a big super family blockbuster film.
Yeah. And it would be coming full circle because you know who invented Pixar? George Lucas. He was the guy who created the Pixar computer for Star Wars and then sold it to Steve Jobs, who eventually sold it to Disney.
How has it not happened?
Right? It's a match made in heaven. I mean, I do love the animation style that they have going for them right now, but I would love to see it open up to more creators, and with the creativity that Pixar has to a lot of their projects. Like, I didn't see Inside Out 2, but that first film is just brilliant. So I don't know. I think there's still a lot of creative projects going on, a lot of good things being made. I think it's kind of easy to say, oh, everything sucks these days, but like, no, then we get stuff like Dune and The Batman and like not Breaking Bad. I'm thinking of Andor.
Batman was really good.
Batman is so good. I will not stop talking about the Batman. I love that movie. They're making a spin-off series about that too. They canceled a couple other spin-off series about it, which they were going to do like a Jim Gordon kind of spin-off and like an Arkham Asylum spin-off.
Wait, didn't they do like a Penguin spin-off with like...
Yeah, it's coming out next month.
Okay.
Or this month if you're in New Zealand.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I love Gotham. I love this version of Gotham. It seems a lot more,
But it's a series, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just another.
So it's like a series of series that support a larger feature blockbuster film.
Like Star Wars.
Kind of like Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe they can learn from Star Wars mistakes.
We can only hope. Or not. I don't know. I think when you start out as strong, with a new character and a new world, it's really like the world of Gotham that they created that was just so brilliant and detailed and gritty and dark and interesting and so good for these Batman stories. There's plenty of them to be told. And I don't care if it takes 4 or 5 years for the next movie to be made. I'm just so excited for it. The last one was delayed so many times and it was so worth the wait. Just don't force these projects out before they're ready. And I think it will be good.
Yeah, I'm with it. So I don't know if I believe it, but I'm with it. Going into really pressing into, okay, what should we do next then? Are we really going to do, what is it even called? Are we really going to do Resistance? Is that really where we're at?
Oh, that was a joke.
I actually do think so, because it's very different. You and Christian both have small children, so you'd be able to watch that together.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be easy to knock out. And yeah, it's totally new content for everybody.
I've seen it, but for y'all, it's new. I'm totally.
How many seasons are there?
Only 2. Too many. Too few. Yeah. Not enough.
All right. I guess we're doing it. I guess we're gonna go into Resistance, and that will be something we do, for better or for worse. That's the next step for this show, Resistance, because people are dying to learn more about that show on YouTube.
we need more content around that.
Lots of hype around Resistance.
I mean,
right now.
I'm open to another conversation. Throw it out. You want to do Rebels?
Really?
Yeah.
I was doing Rebels for you. I'm down with that.
I'm down with. Whatever.
I would much rather do Rebels before the world ends. I would much rather do that than Resistance.
All right.
Let's do Rebels.
Right. Brian's the producer. I'm gonna for me, my vote is that Brian gets to pick.
Oh, cool. I like this job.
It's all in Brian's court. If this show
we need someone to be able to make firm decisions, and now that's your choice. Bestowed.
Sweet. It's all on Brian.
I am honored.
I like
you know what?
it.
I was really kind of, spitballing around in my own head was like an Age of Rebellion animated series that's like kind of jumping around. It kind of follows the same structure of like the Clone Wars takes place over the course of like, the 3 years ish that, the original trilogy takes place, but there's just so many characters and storylines that you could play out in that little time period. With animation, like I think you could just really push, the creativity and connect all these different things. There's a lot of stuff that happened before Mandalorian, in between Rebels and Mandalorian with Mandalore that I think they need to explain and tie into. You could have so many stories being told here. Ventress and Quinlan. You could have Han and Lando doing their shenanigans. I would love to see like the big 3 like reunite. They haven't really been on screen together in a project, just in comics and stuff. But that would be super cool, just seeing Han, Luke, and Leia just doing their thing, having their witty banters. I'd love to see Luke getting his butt kicked by Vader some more in between these movies. Why not? Just let them duel like 5 or 6 more times. You had Obi-Wan Grievous duel a bunch. Anakin and Dooku had all their confrontations. Like, why are we so afraid of approaching the original trilogy? I mean, I know we've gotten a lot of content in that time period.
That is an interesting point.
Yeah.
You really don't touch on the original trilogy much at all. Besides
Actually,
Rogue One.
Actually, I am reading because I learned how to read, Brian. I
Nice.
recommend it.
Maybe someday.
I'm so happy
I've
for
been
you.
reading Lost Stars by Claudia Gray, which is a book that is positioned to set up The Force Awakens.
Mm.
And without going into too much detail, there are a lot of plot events that happen in the book that overlap moments of the original trilogy. So, but you're getting it from a different perspective of like people who are working on the Death Star, like other things like that. So that's been kind of cool for me to get that, like seeing Princess Leia brought up and feeling that that original Star Wars.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were complaining at first when they, canceled Clone Wars, started doing Rebels. They kind of were only doing original trilogy stuff for a bit. So maybe it's like, time to pump the brakes on that because these people really like the Clone Wars now that the fans have been very vocal. But yeah, honestly, like seeing some of these events of the books, like the Battle of Jakku and things like that too, like a little bit of the politics and things going on. I think that would be pretty important to flesh out for that time period. I think that's you need to add more context to the sequel trilogy. Otherwise, it does feel like they just kind of forced everything back to where it was, before, Return of the Jedi, story-wise. Not a huge fan of that. But like really, like the First Order and Resistance War is very different from the Galactic Civil War. Just like on the surface level, it looks the same because it's stormtroopers and TIE fighters and all this stuff. But like the context of the galaxy is something that we really need to see fleshed out.
Yeah.
And Resistance is very self-contained, I would say. It doesn't do really that much to, expand the world other than they introduce a couple interesting characters that are like kind of Phasma level, stormtroopers and some cool little Resistance characters here and there. You get a little bit more Poe, a lot more Poe, actually. That's maybe the best thing about the show.
That sounds great. I love Poe.
Yeah, Poe's a cool dude, and a lot of BB-8, actually.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
Brody, I know you love BB-8, so you're gonna love Resistance.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I'll watch it. We said we were gonna rank and review all Star Wars content on this podcast. So,
but Brian said we're doing Rebels, so.
Oh well, now now I'm flip flopping. Now I don't know what I want.
Well, Brian, when you got to figure that out, you got a show to run, man. You don't have time. Stop thinking about what you want, man. It's for the listeners. We got to just go. It's for the fans. We got to go. We got a show to do. The show goes on.
It sure does. We got to let her rip.
All right. So we've touched on it. We've talked about it. We know what we're doing now. We are going to do Rebels.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, it's happening. It's done.
All right.
Let's make sure Christian knows.
Stamp of approval.
Yeah, exactly. Let's also make sure he knows when to come on. So there's only 15 episodes. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Touch on that show. 15 episodes, 1 month. We can do this. Going from there, we're gonna touch on probably, what do we think? Like 3 weeks from now? How's that sound? How's that look for everybody? Getting back together. We're figuring this out live with the listeners.
I know. I was like, okay, let me just pull up my calendar. Well,
yeah,
I've got
August 15th. No, August 17th. Saturday. Yeah, that's right, listeners. We're moving this show to Saturday morning television.
I think that is my sister's wedding reception, actually. But I will have to double check that because I'm just flying by the seat of my pants.
What about August 10th?
That is my sister's actual wedding.
You're such a liar.
You want proof? I'll go get the invitation.
What about
She's
August 24th? Well, that's actually my brother.
my other sister. No, August 24th is perfect.
But that's too long from now.
Is
It's
it?
too long. It's too long. Brian.
Yeah. Do you
I don't-
really
You're-
need me that much?
August 10th and 24th. We got to look
Yeah.
at those 2 days. We can
Well,
do this.
10th is a definitely no. I know that's the actual date, and I know the reception is the week after.
Or the 17th.
Or maybe
sorry.
we should also like include Christian on that too,
He doesn't get a say.
and not
He's
do
not
it
here.
live. But
He's not here. He's not here. All right. So anything else? We're doing once a month. We know that. We're doing one season at a time. Brian's got new stuff that he's going to be kicking out. He's got gaming content that he's really pumped about. So that's coming out. Anything else we need to announce to listeners before we wrap up, before we take a little hiatus?
Oh, we're wrapping up. You guys got any hot takes or anything like that?
I
Or
mean, we
just-
can keep going. I literally thought we were just updating the listeners today and catching up. But if we have more to say, Brian,
I can
Then
talk
let's-
for hours if you
what
want.
say
I'm
you?
just trying to figure out where this ship is going. Yeah,
You should, yeah,
You
you are now the director, so you should figure that part out.
we're doing some hot takes. Are we y'all got one?
Are we
Or is
ready
it
for
just
hot
me?
takes? We're doing those? All right, let's do it.
Don't be too proud of this podcast you've constructed. The ability to rank content is insignificant next to the power of an exceptional hot take.
It's hot takes time, and because Brian kept asking about it, I really feel like he's got a good one. So let's jump into what is juicy, what is sweet, and go right into Brian.
All right. The Last Jedi is the most metal Star Wars movie. It's layered like a parfait. It's incredibly technically proficient. No one can deny that the visuals are stunning and that it's shot very well, right? And that it's acted very well. There's incredible performances, but if it's not your vibe, it'll give you whiplash. It's designed to scare you. It's designed to kind of freak you out and give you a little bit of whoa. And if it's not for you, then get the hell out. But it's the most metal franchise, and metal is objectively the best genre. So The Last Jedi is therefore objectively the best Star Wars movie.
Oh my gosh. You're just saying things now.
Yeah. I wrote it down first.
well, obviously, I agree that The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie. But
You really do?
yeah, do I think it's the most metal? Well, one of the most metal scenes that comes to mind from Star Wars it happens in probably the least cool show that has ever existed in Star Wars, and that would be Book of Boba Fett. And it's that scene where I think Fennec, or they go into the mod shop and they're like getting their, I think like Thundercats playing or something. And I'm like, that's pretty metal, actually. Like metal as in bio hacking your body in an underground like body mod tattoo shop place. That was cool. So I'm gonna say it's not the most metal Star Wars. So
Oh.
Like
Ouch.
really? Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you on this one too hotly. I mean, is it really that metal? I'm trying to think of like the most metal Star Wars moments. In fact, I'm gonna fall into Google for this. The most. Let's see what Google says.
I would say
Metal.
Anakin being burnt on Mustafar is pretty metal as
Yeah,
well. Like that's definitely
it's up there, isn't it?
a
Yeah.
nominee.
True.
One of the most iconic, most disturbing moments in Star Wars. All right. So the number one, according to sci-fi, is There's Something Alive Here within Star Wars A New Hope, where you got that creature in the trash bin. They say Undercover Jedi from Star Wars The Clone Wars, where Obi-Wan Kenobi, where he fakes his own death in that arc.
Oh, yeah.
Takes the form of a bounty hunter. Okay. Order 66. Yeah. Episode 3. I don't know, man. That might be a lot more metal.
I think Return of the Jedi has the most metal in it. Like there's because there's so many spaceships and a big old Death Star.
Yeah, what about Boba's nose lizard from Book of Boba Fett?
His nose lizard. I don't even
What about
remember that.
Exegol from the Rise of Star? I don't know. I'm gonna say the most
Rancor?
metal. The most metal for me
Exegol is
is
pretty metal.
yeah, Exegol, Rise of Skywalker. That for me. So I disagree with you. I'll give you
Mhm.
that's a hot take because I had to really think about it. But no, I'm gonna say Exegol for me. That's just like it just screams
Mhm.
metal. And like I don't know, like all those Sith worshippers just forming a mosh pit or something. Like it just
That's true.
Circle pit.
yeah. Diane, Diane.
Is that what they're saying?
Got a bad feeling about this hot take.
All right, Amanda, take me through yours.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a different hot take. I'm gonna switch it up. It's gonna include Star Wars, but it's also going to be a different franchise. I think that the Lord of the Rings soundtrack is better than Star Wars.
I've been saying that for years. I love that take.
And the
don't
reason why
know.
I'm bringing this up is specifically because yesterday I went to the YMCA and there was a yoga session happening, and the teacher put on Enya. And
Oh,
as soon as I knew that the Enya playlist was on, I was like, well, you know what's coming. Like, we're going to get some Lord of the Rings in here. And of course we did. And of course I'm like, may it be.
I love that song. Evening Star. That's such a good
Yeah.
song.
I
This
was just
is
like
tough.
breathing into it.
Yeah, this is and as you know, anyone that knows me knows I mildly like Lord of the Rings. And
Mm,
so yeah, no,
understand.
this is a tough one for me. I will say oh man, I mean, I don't know. There is iconic moments. I'm going to Are you saying all Star Wars soundtracks or a specific like film for film side by side comparison?
The body of soundtracks compared to each other.
In the context of the movie, right? Or as
Yes.
their own. Yeah. I agree with that.
Okay,
I think
in the context of the movie, I don't
Howard Shore uses his motifs a lot more deliberately than John Williams. He's using Princess Leia's theme when Obi-Wan dies. Like, what the heck? Come on, man.
yeah, and well,
You can't
and
just
he
play
also
sounds. That's not how
Where'd this
music
guy go to
works.
school?
yeah, it's really tough only because Star Wars is so iconic.
Yeah,
And
iconic
You
that's
know
doesn't
what
mean
else is
anything.
iconic?
hmm.
O'Reilly. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Ow!
Oh,
True.
And that's
wow.
not in the same
Can't
vein
deny it.
as John Williams. So
Well, Lord of the Rings is more it's okay, here's the problem. Here's where I'm coming at. Lord of the Rings, it's like Howard Shore, like it is the soundtrack. It's absolutely better within the films. It's literally a work of art. But which one's more influential? And that one's Star Wars. Whereas like Shore's operatic approach was, I mean, again, which interestingly enough, a lot of it was based on like John Williams' approach of how he originally did the first Star Wars movie. So Shore's score is like it's supposed to be evocative,
it's like the
epic.
Spider-Man meme where they're all like pointing at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not groundbreaking like Star Wars. If I had to listen to one of the two for the rest of my life, I'm going to pick Lord of the Rings. But Star Wars has better melodies and they're more memorable and iconic. And then they also innovated. So for me, I cannot believe I'm disagreeing here, but I'm going to say Star Wars is.
I don't know about innovative because my music theory teacher in high school said that John Williams has never written an original note in his life. Most of the Star Wars soundtrack is like based on the Planets Symphony. Like a lot of those iconic moments are pretty directly ripped from classical music. So I don't know about like original
Duel of the Fates,
so much
though?
as Duel of the Fates is actually like beat for beat copied from another song. Like literally, like that's probably the most the best example of John Williams just straight up
Oh,
plagiarizing.
really? All
Even though
right.
it's
Well,
like-
that would make me reconsider my take.
yeah.
So
Mm.
I don't know,
So?
man.
Mr. Deerdorf said so. So
I guess if
Play
that's the
this one?
case, yeah, I'll say. Well, I mean, it's not gonna be hard for me to say Lord of the Rings is better than Star Wars, but in this case, yeah, if that's true, I don't know, man. I mean, there are moments. I mean, Lord of the Rings, I will say, uses music far more effectively to capture emotion and to
I
get
think
people
Star
just in
Wars
tears.
lost this battle when they came out with the new song at the end of the Acolyte with the yeah.
the power of one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the power of many. Oh,
Many. Yeah.
I couldn't get all the way through that. Usually I
Dude,
listen to the credits. Not that time.
that was rough, man.
Yeah.
That was really rough. No,
So
They
out of nowhere.
tried.
I think
They
I can't believe Amanda's even saying this.
Hmm.
All
What?
right, well, now we know. All right. So I guess if I have to have a hot take and stand on something, I'm actually kind of just still stunned that I said what I said about the music. That's why this episode can never air. No one can know that I supported Star Wars over Lord of the Rings. I guess going along that same train of thought, though, as I make up a hot take on the spot of something I think I actually feel, I think I actually believe this. We'll see. We'll see how much I actually want to commit to this as it comes out of my mouth. When it comes to supportive friends, what?
Nothing.
I see.
That was
I
for the
see
visual.
Brian's
I didn't I didn't want to say it out loud, but I wanted it captured on camera. It's fine. It's fine. Just move on. It's fine.
Oh, all right.
It's too late.
Okay,
It's
I
not
don't know
funny
what you said.
anymore. It's
Oh,
not funny
all right.
anymore.
All right.
I should have just said
Okay.
that
All
one.
right. I don't know what's happening, but I'm
all
I'm
right.
proceeding on. Han Solo is ultimately a better friend than Sam Gamgee. From Han to
Whoa.
Luke versus Sam to Frodo.
Do you believe that?
Listen, I'm just saying things right now. I'm not even thinking about this take.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair,
Listen,
Sam, especially in the second one, is kind of insensitive to Frodo's emotional journey. He's kind of like, why would you trust him? He's a villain. And Frodo's like, you don't understand. It's because I'm gonna become like him. And Sam's just like, oh, F that little bastard. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I mean, like, both Sam and Frodo have their shortcomings, I think, in their friendship. And I hate that people hate on Frodo, say, oh, he wasn't the real hero of the story. Shut up. Yeah, he was. He carried that ring all the way there. All right. You have no idea what that would be like. The point of it is not that Frodo was not a hero. It was that heroes need each other. All right.
Yeah. You can't do it alone.
No, we're not built to do this alone. Not to destroy the ultimate evil.
Yeah.
Look, and I mean, Sam is obviously like a great friend throughout that. So I'm not trying to hate on it. I think, but there is something that I think about though, and that Sam is going to go along with Frodo no matter what.
Mhm.
And Han Solo is like that friend that's like, I'm going to stick by you. I will always be there.
Whatever.
But you're wrong. He's not going to
Um,
say it out loud, but he'll be there. He was always there for Luke.
no, he wasn't. He left his wife.
Yeah, that happened.
There's more context that we need for that story. That was like the biggest gut punch in The Force Awakens for me, was like,
Yeah.
why did I was so invested in that relationship in the original trilogy. My whole childhood, was based on that relationship.
Whoa.
He's a like smuggler, scroungy little rebel, lying dirtbag.
Yeah, I think what they did to Han.
I don't think Han's a good friend. I think that's a bad take.
Explain to us why you think. Give us an example of like Han being a great friend to Luke.
Yeah, please.
He saved his rear with the Death Star.
He did come back. Yeah,
he got out of the way for Leia. He's like, look, you guys want to have like some sibling romance? Go for it. I won't get in the way. You know what I mean? Like, he gave up the love of his life for, incest. He got out of the way. He's like, you guys can do what you want to do, regardless of how weird it is. I'll step out of the way. Like, there's something. He didn't ultimately abandon the rebellion, right? After he was freed from Jabba's lair, he's like, all right, let's see this thing through. Let's go to Endor. Right? He had plenty of moments, and he's just like, And he offered the kid an opportunity to work on the Millennium Falcon. He's like, yeah, Chewie and I could use like another gunner or whatever he said. So like, oh no, wait, he said that to Rey.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, listen, maybe he said something like that to Luke, though. We don't know.
Yeah, I could
I'm
picture
just
it.
saying there's a difference between there's a difference between a friend that's gonna go along
Yeah,
with anything you
KG's
say.
totally right. Han wasn't there. He didn't believe in the mumbo jumbo of the Force and da 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 da.
The rebellion, yada yada.
Yeah.
Listen, if you want
I'm
to
in it for the
disagree with
money.
me, you're entitled to it.
I disagree.
All right, well, now you've hurt my feelings. So here
I
we are.
disagree.
So
Are we
play the
blowing this
sound.
up? I think that
Blow
is
it
a hot
up.
take.
Somebody blow it up. Somebody
Oh.
blow it up.
Someone blow it up. Yeah.
All right, I'll blow it up.
Oh, we did that one
I've
time.
got a bad feeling about this hot take.
Boom.
All right, Brian. I'm just gonna let you direct this episode today. I know you got more to say,
Sure.
so take me through
Yeah.
it. What else are you thinking about?
Something I would love to keep doing on the show. We did this once or twice past couple months, but doing like a little wish list kind of towards the end of each episode. Like, what's one thing you want to see either in the next project that's coming up, the next episode, or if you don't have anything for that specifically, just one thing that you want to see happen in Star Wars canon. And I can go first if you want.
Yes.
Yeah, get it
Yeah.
started.
Sure. I want Thrawn in Andor. I think he's just as deep a cut as Genevieve O'Reilly is as Mon Mothma. And Yularen. Yularen is in Andor season 1. I think Thrawn would be a great, strategic counter to Luther and to these different factions of the rebellion. And at this point in the timeline, I'm not sure if he's Grand Admiral yet, but he's climbing the ranks. I think he's with Morgan Elsbeth at this point. I think Thrawn would be the perfect person to cast in Andor, but I think they need to recast him, as they should for most,
Anything
actors
younger.
that are past their past the age of the character.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I would cast. I was casting Benedict Cumberbatch in my head for that. Honestly, like I saw.
Oh, I really am sad that you said that because now I really wish that actually is what happened in real life.
Yeah. He's a great actor.
Benedict
He's super
Cumberbatch
creepy.
as Thrawn. Yeah,
He's got the forehead
Yeah.
for it. He's got the 5 head. He can.
He's got this
man.
severed look. Yeah.
And as Khan,
That's
honestly,
actually a
I think
huge bummer.
like the second JJ Star Trek movie, I think is super underrated. I know I saw it when I was like 10 or 11, so it was, kind of more made for me, especially, because I didn't grow up watching the old Star Trek. I thought it was super fun. It felt more like a Star Wars movie than a Star Trek movie. And I love that as a Star Wars fan. And Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan scared the pants off me. So I think that would be awesome. I mean, as Khan, Thrawn, it rhymes.
Yeah.
Hey. Yeah. I wish we had a soundbite to play for it, but I guess that's the whole take.
I really want to see more romance in
with
the
that.
next future projects.
Mm.
Like, I feel like they started to hint at it at Acolyte, and I'm not saying that I want like a whole rom-com or a whole like mushy love story, but I feel like there should be a little bit more romance in Star Wars.
They are way
I'm-
too careful about romance.
Yeah, I'm really missing it.
I know. I love stuff like Pride and Prejudice. I think we need like a period drama set on Naboo.
Yeah.
Maybe, Padme's parents. It could, I don't know, just Padme's origin story. It could show her parents getting together. I don't know. And now
Anything on Alderaan, honestly.
Oh yeah, Alderaan's beautiful. I would
Yeah.
love to explore Alderaan more.
More Alderaan content.
Boba Fett.
Oh,
I want more
yeah.
Boba Fett.
More Boba
KG
Fett.
says, I want to see the original trio in a Luke's Jedi Temple show. And justice for Ben Solo.
Okay.
Yes, we need more Ben Solo. I would love to see his arc from the comics played
He's
out.
done. He's not coming back.
I know. I
Oh,
miss,
he is.
I miss
Oh,
that
he is.
driver.
It's happening.
It's over.
It'll happen eventually. Once this new
No.
generation gets a little older, they're gonna love the sequels.
But
They're gonna
he's over it.
love everything. You can recast him
They're
too.
gonna
I don't blame him. Or they could do it in animation and you wouldn't even notice. Or you could just CG.
We could just do
deepfake
AI.
everyone. Yeah, why even use actors? Let's just replace human beings altogether.
Just mocap everything.
Yes. Yes. If that gives me more Ben Swallow, then I am all in favor.
Many things were said tonight. Many things that I cannot get behind that we've introduced into the world. Nope, I can't get behind it. But I'll tell you what, I'm interested to see if any of those things actually do come into play in real life and actually they make something interesting with the because with the sequels anyway. I do feel like, and I don't actually feel like this. I know it's what's happening. They've been so focused on fixing the lore that fans have complained that's been broken that I don't think instead, like, I know we are kind of, I guess, doing this with what's it, the new Ray movie, but I don't feel like there's enough going around like, hey, like, let's just embrace this actual story that we have right in front of us, like you just mentioned with going back into Kylo Ren. Like, I think because there was so much hate, we're like, all right, we're just gonna like bury this completely and not touch on like a Knights of Ren show or anything. And I'm like, no, like that would be really cool. Like let's look into it. So anyway, I'm with it. More sequel content. I am a fan.
Oh, cool. I like it. Can I get a Roger in here?
Go. There you
Heck
go.
yeah.
Did you have, was that your take, Brody, or was that
Yeah,
your
no,
wish
I'm just
list
saying, like, I
item?
would like to see more. I would like to see more
You were supportive.
of
I
that
like
sequel
that.
content.
I appreciate that
I
from
love
you.
supportive Brody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough because like I know they sucked and mostly they sucked because the ending sucked. But like when I look pound for pound, I enjoyed the sequels.
Really? Pound for
Yeah.
pound.
Like what do you
All
mean
pound-
really? Like I thought there was like some of the greatest moments in Star Wars came from the sequels.
Really? I know you love The Force Awakens, but I didn't know you had anything good to say about the other two.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like I said, I thought they were overall solid films for the first two. I had a lot of frustration when I watched the second one the first time around,
Mhm.
and there's still a lot of silly moments within it. But if either of those two are on TV, like I want to watch.
Mhm.
Like I will
Cool.
stop to watch, and I can't say that about Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones.
Really? I'm kind
Yeah.
of the opposite, honestly. Like I'm
Definitely
like
not Phantom Menace.
no, I'm like theoretically on board with a lot of the sequel stuff, but my actual enjoyment of watching them, I think, has declined every time I try to go back. But I can watch the prequels like every day, even though I think they're objectively way worse. I don't know. It's probably nostalgia, you know. It's probably because I'm also seeing myself in the shoes of that battle droid, you know, or that clone trooper or whatever, because I play so much Battlefront. But yeah, the sequels, like I would love to see them more fleshed out for sure, and especially like just content afterwards. What if we set a story that's just like 1,000 years afterwards, and we just like don't even know, like that episode of Star Wars Visions, the ninth Jedi, the lightsaber focused one. That was so cool, and I think the Star Wars universe is so broad that we can go way far the opposite bookends of what we already have, and there's just so much more to explore. I love the world of Star Wars. I love the robots and spaceships and lasers and the Force and the mysticism, and we don't need to have it all tethered to the same, you know, core story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amen.
I'm with it.
All right. Can I get an amen?
Anything else we want to touch on this episode? Anything else we're feeling?
I've literally just got pages and pages of random thoughts and notes if you want. I have one funny story to share. One funny Uber ride I had a while ago. It was like a mom and her 4-year-old kid. She was telling me about her lightsabers because, of course, Star Wars always comes up at every Uber ride I'm in. And it was funny because she, I said, "Oh, hey, I've got some lightsabers too, but they're only for defense, never for attack." And she told me, "Well, I mostly just use them to play with," and that just killed me. And as she was getting out of the car, she said, "Rock and roll." She was a cool kid.
Wow.
That's cute.
And that's it for story time with Brian for this segment of the show.
Cool story though, man. That's so fun.
Thanks.
I if I were an Uber driver, I mean, I wish I could. I mean, I could be technically, but if I kind of want to be a part-time Uber driver just for the stories,
Mhm.
just to meet people. And like, I know, honestly, I bet you that could be the best podcaster in the world is just an Uber driver, spilling the beans on all the crap they hear from their car that day.
Just like hairstylists too. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
they
that's
get
a
the dish.
podcast I would
Yeah.
listen to.
Yeah, I was thinking about just getting like a little tape recorder 'cause I get really deep conversations. I don't have too many like crazy or like
A
even
tape
funny
recorder?
stories. Yeah, but if I get like a
an
tape
NPR.
recorder, yeah, and we just like say, "Hey, we're like cooking with like this discussion on philosophy and existentialism. You mind like recording it and we'll just put it on my podcast? You can scan this little QR code and you can follow it and sign the NDA or whatever." Like, I don't know, that would be really fun. But my
You should
Uber
do that.
driving is probably at an end because my car passed away. Pretty hardcore. I don't know.
That's
It's in the
the car we
shop
met
currently.
in.
Yeah. Oh, was it? Yeah, it was. I wasn't sure if I had. Yeah, it was less than a year ago. So yes. I don't know. It might be fine. I just am kind of being doomer
You
about
just
it.
said it
I'll
was
see
dead.
tomorrow. It felt very dead to me, but we're gonna. They're still looking at it. They're gonna look at it tomorrow morning and give me a verdict. But I don't know. I think either way, like I gotta just find a job that's not gonna kill me and my back, and my in my finances. It's time to find something a little more stable, I guess. As much as I love being an Uber driver and just talking to random people all day, the freedom of it was a little too enabling of my bad behaviors.
Well, I'm glad your car's dying then.
Thanks.
So, like, yay. Yay
Net
for
good, I
you.
guess.
Growing up. Well, this show, although a wayward episode, it's still fun. We're going to keep doing random things like this, the actual reviews once a month, and then we're going to have a bunch of other stuff like this. You want to join the conversation, join it. That's about it.
That's all
We're
I
having
got.
fun.
Yeah.
It's Duel the Ranks. That's this week's episode. Thank you so much for everyone who listened in. And we'll see y'all again real soon. Bye.